You are watching the Deadfoot Diver Podcast with Kurt, the Deadfoot Diver.
Welcome to the Deadfoot Diver Podcast, where we talk about everything diving, tech diving, and especially the benefits of diving with disabilities. So any of you guys who have been watching my channel recently have seen that I had a chance to dive this new Avelo system that came out. And I've had Jennifer Idle on my podcast previously. Well, I'm super excited today because I actually have the inventor, Aviad Kahana, on. How's it going, Aviad?
Good. How are you?
Awesome. I am so pleased to meet you. I mean, I cannot tell you, you've seen the video that I posted, and I mean, you could see the difference just in what it did, your system did for me right off the bat.
Yep. For you,
Which
for
was,
you and many people, which is great.
it is amazing. I mean, the other thing that I mean, this unit is going to definitely save people's lives. I am convinced of that. I mean, I had, even when we've been doing some of our testing up here recently, when I've been going up with my buddy to shoot some videos, the one day we traded dry suits. Well, his dry suit bit big in the legs for me, got some air in it. But on the Avelo, I didn't do a rocket ascent like you normally would have with a normal scuba system. I mean, it is amazing. You can actually have time to react, even if everything fails. It's no big deal. You just keep going and go up.
Yeah, it's the nature of physics. A balloon tends to expand and accelerate. It's just accelerating forces. What you're describing is common. The largest, you went through the e-learning, and I think you made a comment about this system is going to save lives.
Yep.
Training save lives, like training in all disciplines of scuba, as you know. But training needs to be paired with adequate equipment. So it's interesting to see the change that is being done through the training of this, because it's very hard to grasp how much force an expanding balloon can generate, either up if it's expanding or down if it's contracting, because you can't see it. You develop a sensation of what it is, but the force is much, much greater than what you anticipate, even if you're a very seasoned diver. And then I think you saw it through the e-learning that we talk about it, but then we explain why what you're describing is happening. Like, your sensation reflects what to me is the physics of things, you know. Obviously, a balloon will expand, you know, and it's an accelerating force too. It's not only expanding, it's propagating the force up. So yeah, that's it. But to me, it's a lot of it is training. Training is the key to many things.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Training in scuba in general is very important. I mean, I was amazed actually at how easy it was to adapt to diving to this, and how I kept finding myself reaching for my BCD during the first few dives.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, I don't have to. And I mean, even venting my dry suit, it's way easier to dive in a dry suit with it.
Did you talk to Dan Orr?
I did, actually. I had Dan on my show, and he was actually the first person I heard about the Avelo system from. And it was quite funny because he was raving about it, and he's like, I tried to break it. I tried to make it do things that it shouldn't do, and I couldn't. All week I did that. And I'm like, okay, well, interesting, but I find this kind of hard to believe. So I kind of said to my buddy, I said, on the way, I said, all right, let's test this thing out, because I said, this is not possible that this will work this well. And it does. It's amazing. I mean, especially for people with disabilities of any type. way safer to have them in the water with this, because they actually have more time to react. They, especially like with me, I have multiple disabilities I'm dealing with on a dive. And at least this way, if something were to go wrong, you just go up. I mean, basically the only major failure you can have is your regulator.
Tell me, out of interest, how many dives do you have? How experienced of a diver are you?
I used to be a instructor and also commercial diver and treasure diver back in the 90s. I just started diving again last year, and I've gotten since I've started again, I've gotten about 130 dives in.
And when you were
So
active in it on the professional level, how many different environments, like cold water, warm water, strong currents, all that, how much of this was part of your experience?
all of it. I've dove in the St. Lawrence Seaway. I've dove. Well, most of my diving was cold water up here. I did spend a year down in Florida though, and I've done a fair amount of diving down there. So I've had some pretty adverse environments.
So I think I'll give you my perspective. What you're describing is a very experienced diver in many different conditions. Cold water dry suit to warm water no dry suit, very different types of buoyancy, very different types of equipment, visibility, anxious causing things. So when you're saying that you have a long response time, but you're a very experienced diver. Now put
I am.
yourself in the shoes. So what you overcome, as you know, I mean, when you're saying I was reaching for it a lot, it's because you're, you know, many years of experience makes you anticipate and react in advance. What this does, now put yourself in the perspective of a very new diver. New, let's start with never dove before. When they tell you you're going to go dive, your mindset is, now I know how to swim. Diving is going to be me, like in a pool, I'm going to swim down, free dive. They don't even use the term, but they will anticipate a free dive sensation, and then they'll see fish around magically, and they'll just swim around. The concept of buoyancy doesn't exist. Again, we're talking about somebody who never dove before, but what they think. They
Yep.
went and they saw Avatar, and they want to be like that. The idea is to actually give them that sensation, which it's just much closer to that, because you don't, the anticipation and the changing and the reaching or changing body position, well, that will come because airbag like dry suits are important. When you separate the two, when you're saying, okay, I'm taking, somebody who's not, who's not as experienced as you are, their ability to swim underwater is just significantly improved because they're not carrying a bubble on their back up and down, which you can definitely adjust for, but then you need to adjust for it all the time. So that's why, you're reaching for it because you have that experience in advance. The nice thing is that the system really does give you an intro into diving that is just much smoother and much more in line with your expectation of what scuba should be.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And by the way, we're also on your favorite podcast platforms now. We are on Amazon. We are on Spotify. We are on iHeartRadio. We are on Player FM and Podchaser. All of the descriptions are going to be down below, so make sure you check us out. Thanks. Have a great day. And remember, grab an adventure and live.
Yep.
I would say that it's, for you who's very experienced, it's a neat, it's a refreshing change because what you're finding underwater is you reach, there's nothing there, and then you figure out that you don't even need it. You need
For
to see a new
me,
diver that.
for me, it's not even just a refreshing change not to have to do that. It's much safer because I have one eye. So, I mean, especially when I'm diving side mounts or anything, I got to look at multiple pressure gauges. I got to look like keep an eye out for leaks, keep an eye out for my buddy, plus do some photography, do some video or whatever. And then on top of that, I got to try and enjoy my dive.
Absolutely. And see, the other thing is you came into it, you already had very good lung control. And as you know, you said you were an instructor. It's the holy grail to teach divers lung control. In the absence of the balloon, teaching lung control is, people actually hone lung control a lot faster.
Oh,
Did you dive it without the dry suit, by the way, or all of your dives with the dry
I
suit dives
have
with Avelo?
not yet dove it without a dry suit
All
because it's
right.
very cold here right now. We've been slammed by snow. Um, I
Yeah.
am actually, I do have, and not only that, the last week I've been dealing with a tooth issue, which I'm getting fixed on Tuesday. So I actually have a pool session set up on Wednesday. I'm going to go play around with it with a wetsuit and in the pool just to test it.
Yep. I'm looking forward for you. Um, Obviously, it really does feel like you swim underwater, and that's all there is to it.
It is
You need to equalize. You need to equalize.
incredible. So tell me, how did you get the idea to start inventing the Avelo system?
Oh, you just said it yourself. What's the number one that you think about when you go diving? That's the number one that you go, oh, I really want to go, but
The weight.
thing is heavy. Um, so I was teaching diving in the Red Sea many, many years ago. When we were all young and strong. And the gear was this rite of passage. Like you carry it because you're whatever. I got out of it. I became a chemical engineer. I did other things in life. When I got back into scuba recreationally, similar to you, when you're saying, okay, I'm going to go back, you said a year ago you got back into scuba, you really do feel the difference in weight when you go back into it. And you also look at the gear and you're saying, wow, a lot of things have changed. Like computers especially made a big deal and a big improvement. There are improvements, but the fundamental issue of scuba is carrying that gear. And your video shows it. Shore
Yeah.
dives, rocky, and it gets to the point that you're like, if I do that and I twist an ankle, how many weeks of family time am I then missing in recovery? How many weeks of work how does it affect the rest of my life? Considerations that you don't have when you're 20. Uh,
Yeah.
so no, but in all seriousness, there's the mental. I need to go like deal with the gear, and there's also the aspect of it's definitely an effect. Um, there's a dive site on Maui that somewhat resembles that entry that you showed in your video, except it has a much longer walk in shallow water until you reach the area that you can go in. And on one of the dives, as I was walking in, the desire to reduce weight was born well before, like for all of us. Almost every time you carry the gear, like, can't they come up with something that will be lighter? And they can because, carbon fiber tanks have been around forever. And they're used in all kinds of industries, paintball and other stuff. So that I knew. But as I was walking into the water, very similar to how you're showing in your video, I'm like, dude, the only reason that we're carrying this weight is really because the tank itself, the shell, the metal, needs to contain a lot of energy. If you put scuba aside for a second and you take a different perspective, what you have is a pressure vessel on your back. Some would say a bomb, but it's a pressure vessel that contains a lot of energy. That's why it needs to be so robust. But we're advanced now. It's the 21st century, and we know how to deal with a lot of energy like that.